And can you smell that? That sweet smell, that's Himalayan balsam. That smell with the kind of fetid rot of the place is, I don't know, I find it lovely. This area was a Victorian dump. Oh, that's a lovely one, look at that. It's a nice square one, it's got lovely square shoulders, look at that. Oh, that's a keeper, that one. And this is the pose. It was always this. It's always been like this. I think that's like, even these mounds of climbers, they've always been there. I think it's a combination of everything that changes, but everything that stays the same. To me, a brownfield site, or I suppose my wasteland, the place that I discovered as a child, for me it feels rich, it feels buzzing with life and filled with potential for excitement and adventure. So when you think of a brownfield site, you might sort of think of something much more rough and kind of, I don't know, with derelict buildings and that kind of thing. But this is a brownfield site that's been left for such a long time that it's kind of softened with all of the vegetation. But in winter, it's a completely different scene. So you can imagine that all of this vegetation, all of this mustard wouldn't be here. All of the nettle would just be a structural form. And you can see a lot more of the littered ceramics and porcelain. I think there's really something beautiful about observing a site like that is I suppose a cast off really, but watching it flourish, watching nature claim it back. So for me, they're tremendously exciting spaces that I feel so passionately that we mustn't lose them. My connection with this place, it was an adventure. It was a discovery, probably the discovery of my lifetime, I have to say. And I'm saying that with my tongue in my cheek, but I also mean it. It's been a significant place in my life since I was 10 years old, when sort of was cycling along the canal with my brother and friend Louis. We went up over a hill by the side of the canal and past brambles and nettles and found this expanse of land, and from that vantage point you could sort of see the whole entire expanse of it, and it looked amazing and a place to explore. And there were sort of natural ponds with reeds growing and huge great big Gunnera mandicata, and there was Himalayan balsam and plants like datura that I didn't know what they were as a child, but I could see that they were unusual. So this is across the canal. It's slightly different vibe here. I think it looks like somebody's been sleeping rough. And you definitely get more of a sense of derelict buildings and bits of crumbly concrete. I really like the sense that people have been, you know. I suppose it's the bit that was scary as a kid, the sense that people had been. So you'd see sort of like a burnt out fire, or I don't know, there'd be a porn collection under a bush, or I don't know, loads and loads of drink cans where people had had a party or something like that. It was sort of a little bit scary, but also really intriguing, you know, because I think I've only ever once come across another person here while I was here. You'd only ever sort of see the signs that people had been. And it always filled me with intrigue of like what type of people come here and hang out. Other than me, of course. Oh, we disturbed somebody. Just love how completely random this is. So somebody's come here, made like a fence, like using old silver birch and broken pieces of buddleia. And there's tyres and pallets, and it's just completely random. Like, what? We're in the middle of nowhere. But as a kid, you'd come across something like this and the imagination would just run riot. You're just like, it's a cage. You know, what's it? I mean, it might have been some sort of a pen for something. I did once see a pig being kept here as a kid. But I've continued to explore that place. So through my degree in fine arts, it took on different meaning. Like I started to excavate and discover fragments of porcelain and produce assemblage sculpture or photograph or paint in the landscape. That rubbing up against this place while all that was going on just sort of, I suppose, ingrained its significance and importance in my life. I think we know about relationships with people and the profound effect that they seem to have on us. All that I can really say is that I feel like I have a relationship with this place, and that wasteland really taught me what having a relationship with land can mean and feel like, really.